Well, good evening, KingdomPreneurs. How are you? Let me say that I want to apologize for missing a day. Again, I'm making it up to you. I've been having some technical issues. So you're going to get a 2-for-1 again. But we're back on track to 30 days of pulling energy to create the space you desire and for your future. Now, again, I'm Satella DeVeaux, and I am a KingdomPreneur, spiritual entrepreneur, working with spiritual entrepreneurs, creative entrepreneurs, seekers, all persons and business owners who want to tap into their divine scroll soul mission, understand why they're here and what the purpose that they're in business for. I can certainly help you with that, and that's what I do. We've been talking in these 30 days of energy pulls. Today, we're dealing with day 21. On day 20, I had posted something in regards to, Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is the owner of Amazon. And if you look at that post, you will see he's sitting in a little office space. There's a hand-drawn Amazon sign, poster, banner hanging on the wall. It's crooked. It's an old-fashioned looking computer way back in the day. But look what it is today. Look at what Amazon is today. And I spoke about your big vision on day 19 and you getting clear about your big vision. We also spoke about your soulmate clients and what it looks like to connect with your soulmate clients. You have to assess, you have to align, and then you attract. Well, today, as we continue on with the energy polls, and we're going to do an energy poll at the end of this, I promise you. But we're talking about the Munificent Kingdom Capitalist Financier. And we're speaking today about your divine soulmate project. Because remember, again, I told you that there is a divine contract that you made with the Creator, Yahweh, to be here in the earth. And in that contract is everything that you're supposed to do. The fact that you're listening to this, the fact that you're seeking out information about soulmate customers and clients is because you already know that there's an energetic frequency, there's an energetic signature that you carry that is going to connect you. And the same way that you connect with your soulmate clients and customers is the same way that you connect about your project. In fact, we could have talked about the project first and then the soulmate customers and clients. But nevertheless, let's look at your project. There are just some things that you need to be clear of. You have to make a demand of yourself. Remember, it's very important for you to be you, for you to be you, show up and be seen as to what you're representing. Because at this stage, we're talking about visibility. We spoke about it at the very beginning of our 30 days. It's important for you to be clear. And I said to you at one point to go back and look at your big vision. Know exactly who it is that you want to be reaching, who's your target audience, who's your target market. Know that information because you have to know who you're reaching out to with your project. Whatever the project is, it doesn't matter what it is, these same principles are going to apply. And these are things that you will need to know. The other things that is very important about your project that you need to know is the operational cost of your project. And for many of you, I would suspect, quite frankly, that the reason you have not moved forward with your project is because of the money issue. Remember, we started at the very beginning to get your money story correct. Because if you can get your money story correct, then you're 2/3 of the way there, maybe even more, but I'll say 2/3 of the way, because clarity along the whole process becomes very significant and very important for you to tap into the energy. Because sometimes if somebody asks you to explain what your project is about, if you're still fumbling to explain your project, then you haven't worked out all of the details. And this is why I asked you a couple of days ago to go back over your project, to go back over your vision, your big project, and look at it and figure it out, to know it down to the nitty gritty. If somebody asks you what you're doing, you're able to tell them what it is, like that, like clockwork. It's going to roll off your tongue so quickly that they're going to be impressed. And that's and you have to step into the energy of your project. You have to become. Remember, the whole thing about energetics, is that you have to become. This is why we started out about learning how to receive and being a receiver. You have to receive it yourself in order to give it or to translate it. Remember, in Habakkuk 2, it says in the Bible, write the vision and make it plain so them that see it can run with you. How are people going to run with you concerning your project if you're not clear on what your project is and you cannot explain your project in an elevator pitch? So you have to get that down. You have to get it clear. Now, there are some questions, because as I said, most people, myself included at one point, when I was looking at my big vision, in the beginning, the amount for this project was several $1 million. And it used to freak me out. I literally used to have little mini anxiety attacks, because I'm thinking, where in God's good green earth I'm going to get this money? Where is this money going to come? How? I was just stuck in how this is going to happen. And it took a while for me to reach a place where I became one with the project. I became one with the size of the project. I became one with the cost of the project. And as I became one with those things, then some things started showing up. Because you're going to see some things about your project before you actually step into your project. One of the things that started showing up for me energetically was I had a vision, basically. And in my vision, I saw myself receiving a check for the amount to cover the cost of my project. Now, I have not received all of that money yet, but there are things that have come into play that has put me in such a place of excitement and a desire to continue to move forward, because things have started to happen along the lines of the project that are absolutely necessary to happen even before I receive all of my funding. I know exactly where my funding now is coming from energetically, and I know the things that I needed to do to align myself with the project. So I can sit down with someone and I can discuss my project. I can tell you what my project is completely about. And people are impressed with it. Well, it's not so much for them to be impressed. It's the fact that I can now speak about it without feeling like I'm talking about something that's still a dream far off in the distance that I cannot actualize. I no longer speak about the project as if it's something separate from me. The project and I energetically are now one. And because we're energetically now one, my language about it is a lot different. When I did not know where the money was coming from, I still don't know who that person is that I saw that was giving me the check. But I know, and the universe has allowed me to know, the Creator has allowed the universe to let me know that my project is already funded. And this is not some, I'm hoping, I'm wishing, maybe someday. that's not the vein, that's not the energetic flow that I'm in. And it's not the energetic flow that you need to be in. You need to be crystal clear on what you're doing. And there's some things I want you to ask yourself, okay? And so again, if I said, what's stopping you from moving forward with your big vision to put your project and bring it to the forefront? 99% of the people watching this will say money is the issue, okay? You will say money. But what if I told you, as I just did, that money is not the issue, and you're actually letting something hold you back? Because go back to where it says write the vision and make it plain. There comes a point in the process where you move not just energetically, but you have to take the aligned actions. And as you take the aligned actions, synchronicities start to happen and start to take place. This week, I will be attending a aquaponics workshop. I've been trying for, I think, 3 years to attend a workshop. It was going to cost somewhere around $4,000 to $5,000 for me to do this. And I just never seemed to be able to put the money together. And that's what happened when you're not congruent. I wanted to go to the workshops, but I was still fumbling about how I would pay for the workshop itself, how I would take care of my airfare, how I would take care of my lodging, how would, in some sites, because where it was and where the hotel would be, you'd need to rent a car in order to drive out to the facility. There was just so many other things coming up. And then the other thing coming up, and I'm sure it would be similar for some of you, that was coming up was, okay, if I got the money, do I take the money and spend it on something like that when I have all of these other expenses and bills that I need to take care of? So you have all of these conflicting or conflictions that are happening concerning you taking the aligned actions that you need to take on your project. And it comes a point where you have to begin to say, you know what? These are the actions I'm taking forward to deal with my project. I'm going to deal with the project, and I'm also going to deal with my responsibilities otherwise outside of the project. But one of them has to become a priority for you, and whichever one is a priority and you're congruent with, that's the one that's going to manifest in your life. If you're divided in what you would do, then that is what's going to happen. There's always going to be a division. Money's going to show up because you know something. I went on a cruise, but it was a trip that was paid for me. What I should have done was said to that person, I appreciate you paying for this trip for me, but instead of utilizing that money on that trip, there's another trip that I would like to take. And then sometimes, again, you have people in your life that once they do something like that for you, you have to do it the way that they want you to do it. And, so you might be working with that energy as well. And that's another level that you'd have to clean up in your life, because that is only there because you permitted it. So now you have to get into the energy where you say, you know what, I no longer want any assistance from that person. Because if you're prepared to finance trips for me or give me money for things that you want to do, but the things that are important to me are not important to you, so you won't give me the money, then you know what? We need to not have an energetic exchange concerning money. And you have to make that determination for yourself. And that is a self-determination, because it brings clarity. Because you have to make a demand of yourself and say, you know what? I'm not taking that anymore. So that, and the reason it's important is because you're energetically creating space for another stream and another flow for the creator to send in and show up. But as long as you're willing to submit to that, then that's what's going to continue to show up. And this is why working energetically in your business and in your enterprise and in your life and your relationships are so important. Whatever you allow is what's going to show up. So if you take a look at your life and there are things in it that you don't like, don't really pay attention to the external. Deal with yourself internally. Get the right energetic flow. Understand why you permitted stuff so that you can no longer allow the things that are demeaning or make you feel less worth than what your true worth and value is. Okay? And so you have to make some choices and you have to make some decisions, because the money is coming. It shows up, but it's the way that you're permitting or allowing it to show up that's defining what you can do. So again, what's stopping you? 99% of people would say, it's I don't have the money to fund my vision. That's not true. You do have the money. What if I told you that money is not the issue? I just explained to you why. So we go back to the beginning of getting our money story straight and getting our head wrapped around our vision. Once you become energetically aligned with your vision, the synchronistic things will begin to happen. And I'm not just talking, somebody's speeding down through the corner here. I'm not just talking about you daydreaming all day. There are literally things that you must do. There are action steps that you must take. Aligned actions brings the synchronicity. So I said to you, I'm about to take this workshop that I've been trying to do. I told you the story earlier when we started. I was out. I was asking the question, what would it be possible? Two things happened. I made up my mind that I was going to this workshop, that I would go to an aquaponics workshop. And that was the first thing I did. I asked, and then I made a decision. I chose that I was going. I didn't care what had to happen, but I was doing it. Secondly, I received that without beginning now to worry about where the funds would come from. This is very important, because when you become one with it, you begin to release another level of flow towards you to cause actualization to take place. You make a demand of yourself. You know what you want. You ask for it. You make a demand of yourself that you're moving forward. And you continue. This is what is going to cost stuff for your project to show up. Now, once you ask, you receive, and you create by making that demand of yourself, I want you to say this. I create all the money. And in this case now, you have to put in the amount. What is the amount for your project? I mean, literally, what is the amount for your project? What is it going to cost? You have to pay yourself, you have to pay your staff, you have to do advertising, you have to do marketing, everything pertaining to operating your project, your big vision. You need to know it. You need to know the costs. Don't worry about how or where the money is going to come from. Don't cut corners. This is not a time to be cheap, because money is not an issue. You becoming congruent about what you're doing is what's important at this stage. And so I want you to know all of these things. Know the operating cost to run your enterprise. And I want you to know it for 3 years. Okay? That's very important. I want you to know it for the next 3 years, what it's going to take to run your operation. And then I want you to say, I create all the money. And you figure out what that amount is to show up. Is it $1 million? Is it $2 million? Is it $3 million? You know, include in this money include in this money all the things that you want to do. Remember, you want to show up in the world. You want to have big impact. You want to do something. You want to affect your community. You may want to affect another community that's in the global community. But know what it is you want to do. Know what you're going to do with your profits. What are you going to do with your profits in your local community? In giving back, what are you, know what you're going to do with your project, whatever it is. And the monies, the profits that you're going to get from your business enterprise, not the revenue. Revenue is what it takes to keep it going. We're talking about the profits after all operational costs has been done. All taxes, know what tax code you fit in for your business. Don't cut corners on the things that you need to get your business up. Why buy something that is used and is probably depreciated and is going to break down on you in the midst of your operation? This is not the time for that. You don't have to be stingy with your enterprise and your vision. And you don't have to be irresponsible. We're talking about responsibility because in the next video, we're going to talk about how you connect energetically with the investor for your project. And this is why you knowing the numbers. Think about Shark Tank. People get up in there and then they start asking them, what is the valuation for your project? And people, start looking like a deer, looking at headlights, and they go, and who's going to give you money then? Don't overvaluate your project, but don't undervaluate it either. Be measured in what you're doing, because you're getting ready to bring in what you need. Let's continue. And so I want you to know the amount that you need. So you need to know the amount that it costs to run the business each year for 3 years. I want you to look at. And then you say, I totally release everything that does not align with that. I'll say it again. This is the question that I want you to ask yourself. I create all the money, $1 million, to show up for my project. I totally release everything that does not align with that now. Simply. So let's do that. Energetically, you know what it is. Expand yourself out. And now expand yourself out to your out of your room, into your neighborhood, into your community. Expand even more. You're sending out your energetic flow here. Expand out even more to your state, to the nation, to the region, to the planet. Take a deep breath. Relax. All the money's there. Money's not your issue. Take a deep breath. You just want to be clear. That's all. Take a deep breath. Yes. Now, you're into the cosmos. You're way out beyond the universe and the galaxies. You're in the total cosmic realm. And I want you now to turn around, because you've expanded that energy all the way out there. And I want you to turn around and look at your project. Look at the molecules of your project. Look at the spiritual structure of your project. It's molecular level. including the money, everything. It's there and it's yours. I want you just to pull it right to you and right through you. And then bring it around to your heart center. And I just want you to release it out. That's fantastic. I love doing that because every time I do it, I can literally see the turn. I can see it. And so what you just did, you created the funds for your project. Now, because you've already done that, I want you to go back, pay yourself what you need, not just to get by. Pay yourself what you're worth. This is very important to your money story. Because at this level, you must know that you are worth it. Significant. I just want you to sit in that for a moment. I feel the reverberation of that all over. And it's fantastic. Congruency in this point is very important. And so, KingdomPreneurs, again, if you found this video helpful to you in any way, I would like you to like and subscribe to it and make a comment. Again, you're looking at KingdomPreneur, the Alchemy of Entrepreneurship and Wealth on our YouTube page. You're looking at the same name, KingdomPreneur, Alchemy of Entrepreneurship and Wealth in our Facebook group. And of course, there's the website, which is SatellaDeVeaux.com. And I want you to, get ready because on the 12th of May, we're going to go back and we're going to do some more energy pulls. We're going to do a little more work in some group sessions and what have you. Register and sign up for that workshop. That's going to take place. It's online, just like these. And we're going to go into a little more depth and get a little more clarity around a whole lot more things. And we're going to do some other kinds of energetic work that will help you tap into and pull the energy that you need to accomplish the things in your life. I believe we're at a stage in our life, if you're listening to this video, where you're no longer ready to play everybody else's game, but you're ready to live the life that you agreed to in eternity when you came into this reality and stepped into time. Again, I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night, KingdomPreneurs.